How's it going? Austin Prechtel, Prechtel Elevate Performance, coming at you live. It's Friday. I'm feeling fucking amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. October is almost coming to an end, and tomorrow is Halloween. Hope you're all having a great fucking day, because I sure as hell am. And today, the topic that we're going to be talking about, what can you accomplish in a year? You know, kind of going on par with what I was talking about earlier today in my post. What can you accomplish, in a year? Because oftentimes, we all do this. We overestimate what we can accomplish in one day. You know it, I know it. We'll make a big ass long to-do list, and it's like there's so much shit there that it's like we get to the end of the day and we're like, wow, I didn't do everything that I said I was going to do. And it's one of those things where it's one of those things where like you can't even fathom like how you're supposed to do all these things and get all these things done. And then the other end of the spectrum is you underestimate what you can actually accomplish within a year. And I say that because so often people go for shortcuts. They go for quick fixes to things. They think short-term game. They're not looking long-term when it comes to their fitness and nutrition goals. And the reason I say that is like you all know somebody off the top of your head. You might be this somebody who's always looking to get in and get out as quickly as possible. Who's just looking to lose 10 or 15 pounds real fast, so that way you can hit that number that you're wanting to reach towards. But then you hit that number and then you gain it all back because you didn't actually learn how to keep it off. You just went for a quick fix to drop the weight to get to that number, and then once you hit that number, you're like, okay, I'm good, and then you gain it all back because you didn't make a lifestyle out of it. And the reason I say this is because we grossly underestimate ourselves and what we can actually accomplish in a year. And we, overestimate and go for those quick fixes, quick results. We want to lose 10 pounds in 1 week kind of thing. And we overestimate what we can actually do in a really short period of time. And what happens is you get really frustrated with yourself. You're like, shit, I only lost 1 pound this week. That's frustrating. When in reality, that's awesome progress. That's amazing. 0.5 pounds to 2 pounds per week. That is substantial. That is significant, sustainable weight loss. But we see people online talking about how they lost I lost 30 pounds in 30 days and blah, 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 blah. But on the flip side of that, yeah, they did that, but then you don't see the fact that they gained all that back and then some immediately after, because they stopped doing the extremely restrictive and not, very sustainable, path that they took to get there. And so why I say that is because I want to give you guys some examples. If this is resonating with you, let me know. Let me know that you're like, that's me. I've been through that. That's what I've been. That's that's how I've been viewing my fitness or weight loss journey. I just want it now. I want to get there now. And you're not. But then you think you're not willing to wait 3 months, 6 months to a year to actually get to your goal. And at the end of the day, before I kind of jump into some of this other stuff, at the end of the day, you're not going to give two shits about how long it took you to get to your goal. You're just going to be happy that you got there once you're actually there. You're not going to care if it took you a year or two. That's going to fly by so fast. If anybody can attest to how quickly a year can go by, we should all be used to it by now, because 2020 has gone by in the blink of a fucking eye because we've all been stuck inside during all this quarantine shit, And so, if a year can go by this fast, that's just one blink of an eye. It's going to be 2 blinks of an eye before you know it, and you're going to reach your goal. And so I want to kind of go over some things that you can accomplish in, a year. So, it's unrealistic to think, oh, I'm going to get super jacked in just a week or two, or I'm going to get super jacked in just a month or two. You can put on some muscle, especially if you got newbie gains going on, you can put on some muscle, some decent muscle for sure, but you're not going to put on 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds of muscle. That's not possible to put on 20 plus pounds of muscle, period. It's not, unless you're on PEDs or steroids or whatever that may be. Even then, those guys don't even put on that much muscle, except for the 1% of genetic freaks out there. and you think that you can do that in that short period of time, that's not possible. That's unrealistic. You're going to disappoint yourself by thinking about that and looking at it from that way. And the goal of this is to, make you realize what's realistic and what's not. So that way you don't get disappointed and don't get down on yourself and don't get discouraged when you're not seeing the results as quickly as you want. Yeah. But guess what you can do within a year? You can put on anywhere from, depending on your genetics and, where you're at in your fitness journey, you can put on anywhere from, 5 to 15 pounds of muscle in a year. If you're a newbie, there's no reason why you can't put on, 10, 15 pounds of muscle in a year. That's realistic. That is going for that, long-term goal and, underestimating what you're capable of within a year. You can put on that amount of muscle. Like, that's reasonable. On the other end of the spectrum, like sustainably losing and keeping off, people saying like, I want to lose 10 to 15 pounds. What's up, Kieran? How's it going, girl? Sustainably losing, 10, like anywhere from like 15 to like 30 pounds in like, a week or two. Short term, unrealistic. That's not going to be sustainable. You're not going to be able to keep that off in the long term, very likely. You're going to, fall off, crash and burn, not learn why you actually were able to lose the weight in the first place, or it was sustainable to begin, unsustainable to begin with, and they're going to get it all back. That's not realistic. That is overestimating what you can accomplish in a short period of time. What you are capable of, though, there's no reason why you can't lose anywhere from, half a pound to 2 pounds a week, as long as you're following a solid plan, like to a T, like perfectly. There's no reason why you can't do that. There's 52 weeks in a year. Take that times, anywhere from like 0.5 to 2. And you're looking at like, you could lose, very realistically, 30 to 100 pounds in a year, depending on what you're starting at. That's totally possible. You can do that for sure. That is realistic. That is a goal that you probably don't see yourself being able to do in the long term because you can't like envision that. But you can do that. That's possible. You can lose that much weight in the course of a year. And like we've, shown, think about it if you're watching this right now and you're like, man, like, I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would have started sooner. Like, quarantine messed me up. Like, I didn't, do what I was supposed to do. I fell off and I didn't stick with it. And now 2020 is almost over and I'm still in the same spot. But if you would have started back then, you could be anywhere from like 30 to 100 pounds down from where you were. Think about that. Think about how quickly time has flown by since last like February. You could have accomplished all of that in that period of time. See how quickly time goes by, like how much you can actually achieve in such a short period of time if you think about it that way. You could change your life entirely. You could build up muscles and, change your whole life. Like, I work with some people who have had some very severe injuries in the past, like very severe. And they've been able, since working together, like in the last like 6 months, they are like way more capable than they ever were before then. Like, they're able to go out and do things that they didn't think they were ever going to be able to do. But in the moment, if they were like, I want to be able to like, go do all these things on my own and live a normal life in a week, I want those results now, they're going to fail. Like, that's not realistic. That's not possible. But understanding and having the mindset and the perspective that you can do this over a longer period of time, and you don't underestimate yourself, what you can accomplish within a year, you're gonna fucking soar. You're gonna, if you're not constantly like counting the reps and counting the days, and you're just not, and you're like, dragging and like wanting to get in and get out as quickly as possible, and you actually enjoy the fucking process, you're so free. If you're consistent, you're so capable of so much more. Like, so much more. Like, that one of my clients that I'm kind of referencing right now, like her whole life has fucking changed because she was like, you know what? Like, I'm coming from the mindset, like, I know this is going to take time, and I know that I just need to enjoy the journey. And she did that, and is doing that right now. And because of that, she's fucking crushing it. She is able to go do things that she never thought she'd be able to do again. Don't underestimate yourself and what you're capable of doing within a year, or even less than that. But don't overestimate and have unrealistic expectations, because you're gonna get down on yourself and get discouraged. That's what's gonna happen. Another thing too, I've had clients that I've worked with that have totally flipped their mindset in terms of how they're comparing themselves to everybody else. You know what? That took some time to figure that out. That didn't change overnight. That's not going to happen overnight. You have to work on that shit. You have to chisel at that shit away, like every freaking day in, day out, week by week. month by month. And over time, you're going to get what you want out of it, what you put into it. And guess what? That client of mine, she's not constantly fucking comparing herself to other people all the time. Every time she goes to the gym now, yeah, it probably happens still sometimes. Let's be honest. Like, that still happens sometimes to us, but she's probably doing a whole hell of a lot less than she was. You know, that's realistic. You know, that's a realistic timeline for that kind of shit. You know, here's another example. You know, instantly having your entire family be on board and working together with you, and, you know, being, you know, supportive, all in all, like, you know, whole family instantly going to start working out and eating healthy and things like that, all as soon as you start a program. That's not realistic. That's not going to happen overnight. That shit's not going to happen in a short period of time. You're telling me that you're going to change your entire family like system in just one day just because you decided to do something? No, that's not realistic. You're going to have people quit. You're going to have people not want to do it. But if you do it from a general transition type of thing and have it, you know, I'm going to do this, take it day by day. My family's going to join on board slowly over time. You know, we'll start incorporating little things here and there. It becomes way more realistic that it's going to actually happen in a longer, you know, period of time. You know, I've had clients that happened to. Like, now they go out on hikes all the time. The whole family gets to go do fun workout stuff together. They eat healthier as a family now together. The whole fucking family is benefiting because one person in that family slowly over time started working on themselves to make them a better person. And because of that, over time, it trickled out into other parts of their lives too, like with their family, like with their spouse, like with their kids, that kind of shit. And then maybe even then some of their friends and family see that stuff. And then they end up starting to change little bits about their lives. That is realistic. That is over time something that people underestimate that could happen within a year. But they overestimate what they're capable of doing and changing in their lives in an instant. Like, I'm sure you all have things like this that are going on in your lives that you can relate this to, because this happens with everybody, with everything, because we all want that instant gratification. But if we take a step back and we think about it and we realize, you know, what we're actually capable of in a long period of time, like within a year, you're not going to care how long it fucking took to get there. You're not going to care. Like, if you ask somebody who went through major weight loss, like who was, if they were over like 300 pounds, and now they're not, and they're, at a healthy weight and they're happy and they're crushing it, they don't care that it took them, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get there. They're just happy that they got there, right? And enjoying the journey and absorbing that, like, everything that you get. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey getting there. That's where all of this kind of falls into play. That's where you get the value out of all of this, is the learning, the journey itself, all those goodies that you get in between where you're at now and where you want to be. That's what's important. Example for me, what can you accomplish, in a year? I started doing this shit I technically started doing this shit back in October. Back in October, I started doing this shit. I helped one person who offered to pay me to work with them. And that's how this all fucking started. I did that. Back in October, one person reached out to me. And because that one person reached out to me, it started, a trickle-down effect. It made me realize, I really like helping people. I think I could be really good at this shit. And you know what? Within a year, I didn't think about, I'm going to help 10,000 people next week. That's my goal. I'm going to help 10,000 people. I'm going to change 10,000 people's lives in 1 week. You know how unrealistic that is? You know how, like, even if I wanted to change 5 people's lives in 1 week, that's tough. Like, that's not realistic. And if I was constantly thinking of that I was going to do that and that I wanted to do that, like, just in 1 week, like from the get-go, from the start, I would fail. I would fail horribly. And you know what? If I thought that was my fault and that like my unrealistic expectations, I should have achieved them, like, that's what would have, that would have discouraged me. That would have made me feel like, my goals aren't attainable because I had the wrong mindset about it and the wrong perspective. But guess what? A year has passed now, and I have helped over 100 fucking people this year with their fitness goals and their journey. Like, how fucking awesome that feels, that, and the whole time, not counting the reps, just working on, focusing on, trying to provide as much value as possible and help as many people as possible as I can. And because I did that, because I didn't count the fucking reps, because I just, like, over time, it was like, I just need to, I'm looking at the long game. I'm looking at, trying to help as many people as possible and to work on these things. Like, that kind of proves this like theory of like, in my wildest dreams, I was like, I didn't know how successful this was going to end up being and how I was going to end up being able to help as many people as I could. But lo and behold, here we are, because I didn't count the reps. I just kept doing it. I kept being consistent with it, putting in the work, putting in the time. And I've been helping a lot of people, and it feels really fucking good to be able to do that and be able to say that that's happened, because, I'm going to be honest, I kind of underestimated what I could be capable of, and, within a year. And now that I've seen and have experienced that with myself, not only with my fitness and things like that, but now from like a business side of things and from a coaching side of things, there's no reason why, you can't take it further. So case in point, don't set unrealistic expectations for yourself. Set, realistic ones, but also like keep in mind that you are capable of so much change and so much stuff in your life that you can change within a year if you buckle down and you're consistent with it, because it's crazy what we're truly capable of if we take it seriously and we make it a priority. That's the other thing too, is making it a priority and following a solid game plan to get you from point A to point B. That's what it kind of comes down to. So I hope that this live was helpful. Don't overestimate yourself in a short period of time, because you're going to discourage yourself. You're going to have unrealistic expectations. But don't underestimate what you're capable of doing within a year, because you are capable of so much change. Like, you really are. Like, I don't think you realize like how crazy your life can change in just a year. Like, this time last year, I was still living in Florida, in South Florida, and I was miserable, and I hated everything. Like, and now I'm the happiest fucking guy on the planet probably right now. Like, I feel like I'm so grateful for everything that I've been able to do and the people I've been able to help, and yeah, just loving life. And I couldn't have imagined, I underestimated what could have happened within a year, and that's never going to happen again. Like, I'm always going to be working on pushing that, I guess like ceiling in terms of what I want to try to achieve. And I hope that you do it too, because you are capable of doing that. There's no reason why you can't lose 30 to 100 pounds in a year. There's no reason why you can't put on 5 to 15 pounds of muscle in a year. There's no reason why you can't shift your mindset in the next 3 to 6 months. There's no reason that you can't do that shit. So that's my life for today. Hope you got some value from this, everybody. If you're watching this at a later time, hit me with that hashtag replay. Let me know that you saw this, so that way, I know that you're paying attention. If you got value from this, give this a like. If you agree with what I'm saying, let me know. If you feel like somebody needs to see this, if they're like down on themselves, if they've got unrealistic expectations of what they can like achieve, if they're underestimating themselves, tag them in this shit, share this shit, send it to them, whatever, may be. You might help change their lives. You might make them realize that, their goals are attainable, or that they need to shift their mindset to, refocus on the journey rather than trying to like shortcut themselves. So hope you got some value from this on Friday. Tomorrow's Halloween, so hope you guys have fun with the spooky season stuff. Let me know what you're going to be for Halloween if you want in the comments down below. That's my life for today. Have a beautiful rest of your Friday, everybody. Enjoy Halloween. Be safe, and I'll talk to you all on Monday.